Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into the history of a true aviation legend. A fighter jet that became a symbol of Soviet air power and continues to fly in air forces around the world. We're talking about the Mikoyan MiG-29, known by its NATO reporting name, the Fulcrum. This jet isn't just a machine of war, it's a piece of Cold War history, an engineering marvel, and an absolute beast in a dogfight. So buckle up as we explore the story of the MiG-29. Our story begins in the late 1960s. The United States was developing a new generation of air-superiority fighters under the FX program, which would eventually give birth to the legendary F-15 Eagle. The Soviet Union, watching closely, knew they needed a response. Their existing fighters, while capable, were seen as falling behind the technological leap the Americans were about to make. The Soviet General Staff issued a requirement for a Perspektivny Frontovoy Istrabutal, or PFI, which translates to Advanced Frontline Fighter. This was a tall order. The new fighter had to be agile, fast, equipped with advanced radar and missiles, and capable of operating from rough, unprepared airfields. The requirements were so demanding that the project was eventually split in two. The heavier, more complex design would be handled by Sukhoi, leading to the Su-27 flanker. The lighter, more tactical fighter project was awarded to the Mikoyan Gurevich Design Bureau, and this would become the MiG-29. The idea was to create a balanced force, much like the American approach with the F-15 and the lighter F-16. The design team at Mikoyan, led by Rostislav Belyakov, got to work. They aimed for a machine that could dominate the skies close to the front lines. The focus was on exceptional maneuverability, a high thrust-to-weight ratio, and the ability to engage targets beyond visual range. The design that emerged was revolutionary for its time. It featured a blended wing-body configuration where the fuselage and wings merge smoothly. This not only reduces drag but also generates a significant amount of lift, making the aircraft incredibly agile. Powering this agile airframe were two Klimov RD-33 afterburning turbofan engines. These engines were powerful, giving the MiG-29 a thrust-to-weight ratio greater than 1:1 in some configurations. This meant that, under the right conditions, the jet could accelerate while climbing straight up. A key design feature related to the engines were the large air intakes to protect the engines from foreign object damage, especially when operating from those rough airstrips I mentioned. The MiG-29 was fitted with unique intake ramps. On the ground, the main intakes would close, and air would be fed to the engines through special louvers on the top of the wing root extensions. It was a clever, rugged solution for a frontline fighter. The first prototype, designated Product 9, took to the skies on October 6, 1977. After a rigorous testing period, the MiG-29 officially entered service with the Soviet Air Force in 1982, when it was first unveiled to the West at the Farnborough Air Show in 1988. It was October. Western observers were stunned by its performance. The MiG-29 performed maneuvers that seemed to defy physics, including the famous tail slide and the even more incredible Pugachev's Cobra, where the aircraft rears up to a vertical or even past vertical angle of attack before dropping its nose back down, all while maintaining its general direction of flight. These moves showcased the jet's incredible aerodynamic stability and control, especially at low speeds and high angles of attack. The MiG-29 was built for combat. Its primary sensor was the NO-19 SAP-Fort-29 radar, nicknamed Slotback by NATO. It was a stealthy way to fight, long before stealth became a buzzword for aircraft design. For weaponry, the MiG-29 was armed with a single 30mm GS-301 cannon with 150 rounds, a powerful last resort for close-in fights. Its air-to-air missiles. It could carry the Vimpel R-27, NATO code AA-10 Alamo, a medium-range radar-guided missile. But what truly made it feared in a dogfight was its combination of the R-73 or AA-11 Archer short-range heat-seeking missile and the Shell 3UM helmet-mounted sight. Missile and fire. The R-73 was so agile it could engage targets far off the aircraft's nose, a capability known as high off-bore sight. For a Western pilot in the late 1980s, facing a MiG-29 with Archers was a terrifying prospect. After the collapse of the Soviet Union, the MiG-29's story took a new turn. Suddenly, these advanced fighters were available on the open market. Over 30 countries have operated the Fulcrum, from former Warsaw Pact nations like Poland and Germany to countries across Asia, Africa, and South America. Germany, after reunification, inherited the East German Air Force's MiG-29s. They integrated them into the Luftwaffe and flew them in dissimilar air combat training against NATO fighters. The results were sobering. In close-range mock dogfights, the helmet-mounted sight and the R-73 missile gave the German MiG-29 pilots a significant advantage over F-16s and F-15s of the era. This experience directly spurred the West to accelerate development of its own advanced short-range missiles like the AIM-9X Sidewinder and helmet-mounted displays. However, the MiG-29 was not without its flaws. The early models, designed for short-range defensive missions, had a notoriously limited fuel capacity and combat radius. Pilots joked that the MiG-29 was a point defense fighter, only capable of defending the airfield it took off from. While it had its shortcomings, particularly in range and avionics, its raw performance and maneuverability were undeniable. While it had its shortcomings, particularly in range and avionics, its raw performance and maneuverability were undeniable. It forced the West to reevaluate its own fighter tactics and technology, leading to advancements that are still in use today. while it had its shortcomings, particularly in range and avionics. Its raw performance and maneuverability were undeniable. It forced the West to reevaluate its own fighter tactics and technology, leading to advancements that are still in use today. From the skies over Europe to the decks of aircraft carriers, the MiG-29 Fulcrum has carved out a unique place in aviation history. While it had its shortcomings, particularly in range and avionics. Its raw performance and maneuverability were undeniable. It forced the West to reevaluate its own fighter tactics and technology, leading to advancements that are still in use today. From the skies over Europe to the decks of aircraft carriers, the MiG-29 Fulcrum has carved out a unique place in aviation history. It's more than just a fighter jet. It's a testament to Soviet engineering, a symbol of an era.